if it helps me catch one more fish, it's great. But also I noticed with my kids, I got a 12-year-old who loves bass fishing, and he's learning to throw a frog. And it's awesome to see him actually hook and catch more fish. And I know a lot of times those fish would have spit it back out before he even had a chance to set the hook. The timing on the hook set is very important. What I tell people when they're throwing a frog is when they're working it on the surface, they see the fish come up, don't just set the hook right away. Wait till you see, you'll visually see that tail come back down. When you see that tail come back down like this, that means the fish is head first, got the frog in its mouth, and when you set the hook, you're flipping that fish backwards, you're hooking them. If you just get a big blow up, you gotta wait just a sec, make sure he pulls it down and loads up and then set the hook. If you're in a situation, this happened to me at Red Crest. We just had our big championship for Major League Fishing. I don't know how many of you guys saw Major League Fishing Red Crest. I caught a lot of my fish, a lot of key fish throwing my frog actually, in the black and red dog color on the Mississippi River. And what I noticed the first day, I mean, every fish that blew up, I hooked, caught, it was phenomenal. I mean, I went from, by the time I got into my frog area, settled down and fished, I went from like last all the way to third place with a 30-pound weight cushion going into the next day, which was elimination day. So 30-pound cushion, I didn't need, top 20, or was it top 10 guys or whatever it was, top 20 got to advance out of 30. So I knew I had a 20-pound cushion. I didn't really need to burn them up, but I went in there to get some good, I had the camera guy on me, and I just kept missing them. What I noticed was the water had dropped. And when that water dropped, I was catching them maybe about that much water. But when that water dropped, there was only about that much water. The fish are still up underneath this mat that I'm fishing over. It's like a cheese mat. It's got little lily pads. It's got some pepper grass. It's just a combination of all the vegetation. When you get that, that's when you want to throw a frog. I can tell you just general, if you were just to go buy a couple of frogs, I would get you a black frog and I'd get you a white frog. Black, in any situation, any lake you go to, it's a silhouette. It's not intimidating, it's natural. It kind of brings the profile down, and it's just easy for the fish to locate and grab. White can actually amplify it. It can look a little bit bigger, but I catch bigger fish. So if I'm in a situation where I know I can get a lot of bites, I probably put the black one down and pick up the white one to try to get the bigger bites. And again, you've got different times of the year. You've got shad spawn, you've got brim beds that come out, after the bass spawn, the water gets in the 70s, you start seeing those little bowl shapes all over the bank and lily pads, whatever it is that you're fishing. Or if you can see them on some of your sonars, you can see some of that stuff too. But those are the brim beds. When you get the brim beds, I made a color for snag proof back in the day called Fred Frog. And that's what I had won Lake Murray on. My buddy won the $1 million Force Wood Cup back then on it. And it was probably the best selling color for snag proof for years. Well, now that I came out with my own frog, guess what? We got that color. And that's a brim bed color. It's got an orange throat to it. It mimics a male brim. And when you're walking it back and forth, it kind of rolls and tilts, and it just lets all the colors shine on it. It's a great color. So Fred Frog color is probably my single favorite color. The other one is that black one I was telling you about. It's called Dog, like Georgia dogs. Unfortunately, our company's out of Georgia, and they're big dog fans, so I said, okay, we can call it Dog. I wanted it to be called Night Rider, because I think that's really cool, and that was one of my favorite shows growing up, but it's called Dog.
It's Mike Iaconelli. This is Bass U TV.
Here's what's awesome about Bass U TV.
You get the top instructors.
You will learn things at Bass U that you will learn nowhere else.
We take the mystery and the myths out of bass fishing.
Real tools that help you catch more fish consistently.
At Bass U TV, shoes are optional.
And I like turtles.
And that's why you want to check out Bass U TV.
Join the Bass U family.
Welcome to Bass U TV.